Bootham Crescent pitch told its own story on Saturday. Following hours of torrential rain, they had little choice but to postpone the League Two playoff first leg between York and Fleetwood. The ground staff have been working continuously since then, and with the rain easing slightly today, it looks like we have a playoff game on our hands.
One almighty ending awaits. Rifled home in fine style.
A huge prize awaits the winners.
Gorsevich who's in. Brilliantly done. Let the drama resume.
Live from Bootham Crescent, it's York City against Fleetwood Town, two clubs who were in the conference 2 years ago in the League Two playoffs first leg. We're on Sky Sports 2, it's exclusively live in high definition like all the playoffs, and it's available wherever you are via Sky Go. York City, under manager Nigel Worthington, have been in spectacular form since February. From heading back towards the conference, they went on a 17-game unbeaten run, surging up the table, and eventually clinching the final playoff spot in 7th place. Fleetwood's boss, Graham Alexander, is leading his first playoff campaign as a manager, but he took part in 7 as a player. Fleetwood have been in the playoff positions since January, eventually finish in 4th place, 5 points outside the top 3. So then this is the slightly amended League Two playoff schedule, with Burton beating Southend 1-0 on Sunday. York and Fleetwood go head-to-head tonight. The second legs are next Friday and Saturday, with the final on May the 26th at Wembley Stadium. Great credit to both clubs and their supporters for getting this game on this evening. There's been so much rain around this part of the world, they've taken gallons of water off the pitch. Delighted to say I'm again with pedigree, and we were in a nice, warm, dry studio on Saturday. Now we're here, but it's good to see the game on, isn't it?
Yeah, a great atmosphere already. Fans travelling in the thousands. Looks like it's going to be another sellout, so credit goes to them as well.
Yeah, looking forward to a slick game then.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think both teams like to play football, like to get it on the ground, get it out wide, put the ball in the box, so it should be really exciting.
How do you estimate York's season, especially since February?
It's been magnificent. I think at the end of January, they needed some fresh blood, shall we say. They had 3 or 4 injuries, and the recruitment that Nigel Worthington's put into play has been absolutely fantastic. We can see there the steady climb, 17-game unbeaten run, playing against some of the top sides. And he put in a triumvirate defensively of Nick Pope, 22 appearances, 16 clean sheets. John McComb, they need experience at the back. He comes in from Mansfield, real leader, and obviously Lowe alongside him as well. But also he's added some flair in the wide areas, 2 young Irish wingers as well. And Russ Penn, who's a leader and been right throughout these divisions.
Have they got a better chance than Fleetwood, who finished 4th? Would you favour Fleetwood over York?
It's a real toss of a coin, George, really, because although this York side possesses a lot of quality, then against Fleetwood, who invariably were one of the top 3 squads in the division, and were hot on the coattails of the 3 automatic promotion winners until the second from last game.
Yeah, I suppose it tells you all about Fleetwood's ambition as a small club, but with tremendous ambitions and a very generous chairman, that they've had 5 promotions in the last 9 seasons.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you look at the recent history, I think 3 and 5 both sides have had, so they've played, big game mentality should be there. I think Graham Alexander's put himself well in his first real look at management. He's recruited very well, and the 2 lads up front for me are what it's all about for them. Real great movement from Ball and Hume, and the guy in behind who's got magic in his boots, Sarcevic, young lad who started at Manchester City, and it was a worry for me if the game had gone on the other night, because it had stopped their threats. Vast majority likes to run with the ball, attract people towards him, and then slip the 2 strikers who've got really good movement.
I think we should say as well that both squads are exactly the same, starters and subs as well.
Yeah.
It would have been terrible, wouldn't it, to be in the team Saturday, not playing dropped.
Can you imagine that? You know, trying to get it would definitely be in a sour grape squad, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There'd have been a couple sat together on the coach, but no, they were obviously in the right frame of mind. They'd had the plots and the ploys and the plans of how they were going to go about the game, and it's normal practice resumed. I'm expecting a really good football game, and hopefully the pitch doesn't deteriorate as the weather does.
Great. OK, then, at the second time of asking, it is York against Fleetwood in the League Two playoff semi-final. First leg, and with a place at Wembley eventually on offer. It's York against Fleetwood, the League Two semi-final, first leg playoff game at Bootham Crescent. Postponed on Saturday, we're now going ahead on Monday, and with the teams almost ready, let's hear from both managers, Nigel Worthington and Graham Alexander.
When you're within the game of football, you've got to be ready for the unexpected, and Saturday is one of those freak situations where there was a deluge of water late afternoon, and it made it very difficult, but we got on, we prepared as normal on the Sunday. Nice little light session this morning, and we're ready for the game tonight.
Well, we had to change what we were doing, of course, and we had to travel back to Fleetwood and train yesterday and come over again today. So, yeah, there's a slight adjustment, but you know, this is our third cancellation this season. We've had to adapt to other times, so we're looking to adapt tonight.
They're a good side. They've invested heavily over the course of the last couple of years, so that'll be a tough game, but we're in a good run ourselves. We've got good players out there, so as long as we go and compete and we stay honest and we work hard and we do what we're good at, hopefully we can get a good result.
They've not been beaten for a long time, so they go into the playoffs confident, same as us. Two good teams that are going to go all out to win.
48 hours late, but we have a game. Let's join our commentators, Don Goodman and Tony Jones.
Thank you, George. Good evening, everyone. The rain has eased, the game is on, much to everyone's relief. Now two teams who almost matched each other step by step when securing promotion from the Conference to the Football League. Go shoulder to shoulder and in a moment head to head in a bid to claim a Wembley appearance and then a place in League One. Rochdale Scunthorpe and the League Two champions Chesterfield have already achieved that objective. But the uncertainty will stretch to 3 more games for 2 of the 4 clubs in the playoffs. York City are hoping to extend a 17-game unbeaten run, a sequence that began with a 2-1 win at Fleetwood at the start of February. Will Hurst, on loan from Preston, like teenager Ben Davis, is preferred to Lewis Montrose in midfield. Goalkeeper Nick Pope went 7 games without conceding at one stage, but he's been well protected by a back four that includes Keith Lowe, John McCoon, who failed to get a look in at Mansfield in the first half of the season, and Lanrai Odibianjo, who enjoyed a double Wembley success 2 years ago as York won the FA Trophy and the Conference playoff. Fleetwood are without Alan Goodall, who picked up a 3-game ban after he was sent off against Wickham. Goodall is available for the second leg. Manager Graham Alexander rested a few regulars for the final day defeat at champions Chesterfield. Now both Mark Roberts and Nathan Pond are back in the centre of defence. Matty Blair scored the goal that took York into League Two again 2 years ago. But Anton Sazarevic and Josh Morris have been the standout performers for Fleetwood in the run-in. Sazarevic is top scorer with 13 goals, 6 in his last 10 games, while Morris, on loan from Blackburn, was named League Two Player of the Month for April. York substitutes include Ryan Jarvis, whose brother Rossi has already claimed a playoff win this month, helping Lowestoft to the Conference North or South next season. And Fleetwood could call on John Parkin, who had a spell at York before they dropped out of the Football League 10 years ago. The first full season in charge for Nigel Worthington and Graham Alexander there. One of Worthington's key signings. John McComb, who arrived during the January transfer window from Mansfield. He's steadied things at the back alongside Keith Lowe.
Well, he has, and it's been a massive introduction. Nigel Worthington brought several players in January, but that was one of the key ones. Solidified that defence, and they've got this amazing defensive record. Good partnership, him and Keith Lowe.
It is all about experience as well. Ian Hume was rested for that 2-1 defeat at Chesterfield on the final day of the season. He enjoyed promotion to the Championships while he was alone at Doncaster at the end of last season. Now he's on loan at Fleetwood from Preston North End. At last, we're all set to get underway at Bootham Crescent. Major disappointment to see this fixture called off on Saturday evening. Ground was filled almost to capacity. Everything was done to try and ensure that it went ahead as planned. The elements took hold. Understandably, York are itching to get underway, and they get that opportunity now. The first leg of this League Two playoff semi-final, York City against Fleetwood. Two clubs whose success in recent seasons almost match each other.
The first thing we've got to do is congratulate the ground staff on the monumental task they faced in trying to get this game on, and they've done a terrific job. They really have. They've got a reasonably good playing surface, and hopefully this game will live up to the billing. Two good teams, formed teams that are very hard to beat. York obviously been talked about their 17-game unbeaten run, but Fleetwood only lost 2 of the last 14, and they won on the last day of the season. Graham Alexander had rested half a team, so 2 very good teams that are hard to beat.
Calvin Andrew was the target. He's been a fantastic second half of the season for York City. 17 games undefeated, and in those games they've given away absolutely nothing. One of the meanest defences in League Two. Fought there by Ben Davis, just 18 years of age. He's featured in all but 2 of York's games in the regular season. He also made his debut for Preston at the age of just 17. Nigel Worthington has been through this all before in his time with Norwich in the Championship. He missed out in a penalty shootout at Cardiff in the days when the finals were played at the Millennium Stadium when Wembley was being rebuilt, and then took Norwich into the Premier League as champions. Graham Alexander, who played in the Premier League at the age of 37 after being part of the Burnley team who enjoyed promotion.
Two very experienced guys, football men on the touchline, haven't you? Graham Alexander, 7 playoff campaigns is phenomenal, isn't it, really? You try and remember and focus the one at Burnley, which is the one that he won. What he does have is the experience of how you deal with such occasions, how you prepare yourself.
Here's Lowe. He's trying to pick out Michael Coulson, whose goals have been key for York during the later stages of the season. Minus Wes Fletcher, their top scorer at the moment, to damaged cruciate knee ligaments.
Hard to call, aren't they, as all the playoffs are. Championship, League One, League Two, no different. Burton proved that when beating Southend, who were probably the form team going into it in terms of picking up points over the last 6 games. Southend were at the top, Burton a long way back, but got themselves a first leg lead, and more importantly, both clubs will still feel that they're in the tie, and that has to be the objective here this evening.
Sorry, Don. Yeah, excellent goalkeeping there by Nick Pope, the youngster who's on loan from Charlton Athletic at the moment, because he was sold a little bit short by Keith Lowe with the back pass in conditions such as this.
Well, he may be young, but what a record he has in terms of clean sheets. Barely conceded. Well, they've conceded 4 goals in the last 16 games. I mean, it can't get much better than that. It really is almost perfection.
games undefeated for York City, and 7 of their 11 wins in that period by 1-0 scorelines, including their last 5.
Yeah, they are involved in tight games, aren't they? And it's because they're not the most prolific team in the division.
Calvin Andrew. Brian, youngster who's on loan from Middlesbrough at the moment. Losing out to Nathan Pond, who has been part of the Fleetwood success story right from day one. 5 promotions in the last 9 years. They couldn't step up from the Northwest Counties League originally when they finished as runners-up because the ground wasn't good enough. Fleetwood who have made dramatic progress in the past decade. Now looking to edge on into League One. Hayhurst. Josh Morris, young strong loan from Blackburn Rovers.
It's poor decisions, poor play. And Charlie Taylor, the left back, had bombed forward. He just needed to open his body, Josh Morris, and roll the ball in the direction of the left back.
10. Big was looking to release ball. David Ball.
It's all a little bit rushed in the opening 5 or 6 minutes so far. The team really settling down in terms of passing. Possession being returned probably way too quickly for both these managers' likings. There's another example.
The idea was right from Stephen Schumacher, who's in that holding position, isn't he, just in front of the Fleetwood back line. Fleetwood who haven't had too much trouble on their travels this season, more away wins than any other club. Apart from Chesterfield, 11 away wins each.
They are just as good away from home as they are at home, aren't they, Fleetwood? And that's really comforting for Graham Alexander to know. Not a bad home record, but a very, very good away record, the 3rd best. They tend to be tighter away from home as well, which is really surprising, isn't it? Most clubs concede fewer goals on their own patch, but look, Fleetwood, things backwards in that respect.
Pond was really strong then. Not to be as well to hold off Coulson. Nick Mellon was the Fleetwood manager who successfully switched Nathan Pond into the centre of defence. Showed his adaptability over the years, initially operating as a midfielder. Will the experience of the likes of Hume be for Fleetwood?
Well, it certainly doesn't do any harm, there's no question about that, but having said all of that, I was at the iPro Stadium the other evening and a very young, talented Derby County team blew away a more experienced Brighton team, so it doesn't always work out, but I'm sure Fleetwood are really happy to have Ian Hume in their ranks.
Helped away by McCoon. Headed on by Coulson. Andrew just trying to wriggle away from Roberts. Here's Morris. Didn't quite get there. Bencher, one of the few survivors from the York City team who made League Two from the conference. Morris again, League Two's Player of the Month for April. Again, determined to change the direction of the play, and now to pick up Matty Blair. Andrew making a real nuisance of himself up front.
Just one target in the box with Michael Coulson. That would be a perfect cross. Calvin Andrew did really well in the first instance to make that ball his, didn't he, in the channel. That's good tactic. They've got really willing runners up front, York. Calvin Andrew and Michael Coulson run the channels all day long.
Calvin Andrew was claiming his first goal for York City on the final day, and they drew 2-2 against Scunthorpe. They came back from 2-0 down in that one. Calvin Andrew getting the final touch to an effort by Will Hayhurst. Challenged by Conor McLaughlin. He's missed the last 2 games for Fleetwood because of a calf problem. Liam Hogan has come in the right back role and done well, but Graham Alexander deciding to go with his strongest back four, as you might expect. Helped away by Charlie Taylor.
It was a little bit unfortunate there, you know. Accidental coming together. 2 players chasing the ball. Here's Brobel. He's deemed to have fouled. Not sure about that.
Brobel, another of those who's stepped down from the Championship on loan this season to try and get a bit of experience. Roberts immediately put under pressure by Coulson.
What's really evident in the opening 11 minutes or so is that Fleetwood, they're not going to get the better of that York City back four by playing the ball in the air. They're not going to get the ball on the floor into David Borley and Hume. Sasovic just off them. It will be more productive, I'm certain of that.
Bond was asking his goalkeeper to take responsibility. Almost as risky as Lowe trying to pick out his goalkeeper, Nick Pope, at the other end.
Doesn't run through maybe as quickly as Calvin Andrew thought it would.
Knocked away again by Lowe. Who, like Penn, had experience of the playoffs with Cheltenham, a semi-final defeat and a final defeat as well.
It's that channel ball again. Willing runner, Calvin Andrew. Pond and Mark Roberts, the 2 centre-halves of Fleetwood, are going to have to be prepared to cover some ground here this evening.
Davis again with the throw. They scored a point on the final day of the season, York, with that draw at Scunthorpe, but they slipped from 6th to 7th with Southend defeating Burton Albion 1-0 at Roots Hall on the final day. As they meet in the other League 2 playoff semi-final, with the advantage going into the second leg. Made it absolutely clear to their players that they can't start to think about Wembley just yet. They need to get the job done first.
We literally have just started this whole tie, haven't we? Long way to go.
It's worth Remembering as well that away goals rather don't count double in the playoffs, in Football League playoffs. Coon with the chance to go forward. Since the unease as Fleetwood try to cut with the threat provided by Calvin Andrew and McComb. Robert. Andrew! Was a terrific block by Roberts. Thrust himself in the way of that shot from Calvin Andrew. Grobel is sure that York here should get a corner kick, but it will be a goal kick.
Our first real opportunity of the game. Does really well, doesn't he? Pulls the ball into a dangerous area, and Calvin Andrew really connects well, but you've got to give both centre-halves credit. They're both prepared to put their bodies on the line there, and it's Mark Roberts, the skipper, ultimately gets the block in. First real hint of danger in the game.
Wes Fletcher for York at the moment, their top scorer with 13 goals. Cruciate knee ligament problem, which has required surgery. He's in a brace at the moment. The other absentees, Josh Carson as well, who was a regular during the early part of the season. He's had knee reconstruction in the last couple of weeks or so. Morris. Now Taylor, the boy from York. Morris again. McLaughlin.
Once again, trying to be elaborate because they're finding it very difficult to break this magnificent York City defence down. Not really threatened yet, the away team.
Suggestion of a handball there. Morris. Well, York are furious about that. It's a quickly taken free kick and they've switched off somewhat.
That's good movement from Ian Hume. It falls to David Ball, who picks out Morris. Again, good defending to get the block in from York.
Pond ready to make his move. Well gathered by Pope. He is swift to get York moving again. Coulson with support from Brobel.
Just got a little bit excited at the vital moment, didn't he? Michael Coulson lost control of the ball. And that was a very good situation developing for him.
Sarcevic. Now Pond. Morris. Schumacher. Sarcevic! Really whipped away off the foot of Antoni Sarcevic, and Nick Pope had to readjust to get there.
Oh, lovely strike. Watch the movement on the ball. It's dipping and swerving all over the place, and that's good goalkeeping from Nick Pope. Takes no chances and just makes sure that he gets a good palm away from the danger area.
Pope, the goalkeeper, in form. Sarcevic, the midfielder, in form. 40 goals he's got this season for Fleetwood, just outscoring David Ball. And Sarcevic is again putting the York goalkeeper under pressure. Again, Pond and Roberts are poised on the edge of the York City penalty area. Pond was flying in there. Swept away by Calvin Andrew.
It's just been a good 2 or 3 minutes for Fleetwood. They've got the ball down, and at last they've found some rhythm in their passing, creating chances, and just caused a bit of panic there. Claims for a handball as this is knocked down by ball onto Calvin Andrew. Leans into it a little bit, doesn't he? It's his chest, then his arm. The referee gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Again by Calvin Andrew. Picked out by Coulson. Tapped by Calvin Andrew.
Took a ride on the shoulders of McLaughlin, but he was involved at the other end in a different capacity, wasn't he? First decision for Carl Boyson, the referee. See where he is? He's blind-side, isn't he? There's no way he can see from where he is that that ball struck Calvin Andrew on the arm. It clearly does, but I think it comes off his sort of chest area first, onto the chest, then onto the arm. The referee can't give it if he doesn't see it. It would have been a little bit harsh, in my view.
Did he lean towards the ball?
He did, with his chest, but then it hit his chest and rolled onto his arm, so I think that's fair enough. I think the referees have to be certain. Such big stakes involved in this game. They don't want to be giving soft penalties, and that would have fallen into that category.
Andrew spent the first half of the season at Mansfield along with John McComb, two of those who Nigel Worthington brought in, and we're in at the start of this successful run that York City have had. 2 defeats in this calendar year in successive weeks, losing to Hartlepool and also at home to Chesterfield back in January. Neatly done by Hume. Now given away by Ian Hume. Brother. Hayhurst. Here's another of those on loan from Preston. Sarcevic. Rescue by Ball, which has drawn 1 or 2 ironic cheers.
I think it was a pass from Sarcevic, slightly behind him.
By Hume. Positive goalkeeping again by Pope. Morris. Done again by Schumacher. Schumacher there, perhaps fortunate to get another opportunity to pick out McLaughlin. Hume, it's a lovely step over. Sarcevic with the attempt, which is scuffed away and eventually cleared by Penn.
Some wonderful defending. you needed any highlighting as to what the strength is and why they're hard to break down, just saw it there. Just for a second, real danger for York, but real good defending.
Penny started every game since he arrived at York. Signed from Cheltenham back in January. Enjoyed plenty of success in his days with Cheltenham. He scored against Everton in the FA Cup last season in the 3rd round.
Well, we would have expected a tight game between these two. It's at stake, and there hasn't been too much goalmouth action to speak of. Just that Sasovic shot is the only one on target 25 minutes in. Not really surprised.
How important is it to have a bit of momentum going into the playoffs? When you look at the form of the other contenders in League Two just at the moment. Bando. These two teams with their sights on League One. League One playoff second legs, live only on Sky Sports. Leyton Orient against Peterborough, that's at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1 on Tuesday evening. And then Rotherham against Preston, Thursday, 7:30, Sky Sports 1. Both games 1-1.
Finally poised, as we are in League Two. You were talking about momentum earlier, weren't you? And sometimes it can be really important. Crystal Palace highlighted though in the Championship that doesn't necessarily mean success at the end of it.
Carl Boyson here has decided, after consulting with Dean Trelevin, who's the assistant on the far side, to award York City a free kick, a handball, as the ball was going out of play. Read over this with Hayhurst.
I think Mark Roberts, the skipper, Pond, it was who handballed needlessly. He will be just relieved that that free kick amounted to nothing.
Calvin Andrew. Blair. Now ball. He can't get beyond Davis. This time it's Roberts mopping up at the back for Fleetwood. Just going back to the question, Don, is it important to have a bit of momentum going into the playoffs like this, or is it a question of what you do on the night as much as anything else?
That's what you do over the two legs, isn't it? It's how you deal with the pressure, how you deal with the expectation. If you've got momentum and you can keep that level of performance going, like Derby County did, you've got every chance. But if you haven't, every now and again, like I was saying, Crystal Palace highlighted that it is possible to just get a lift from the sheer occasion and how close you are to achieving your objective of promotion. Nigel Worthington has been through it before, he knows all about it. I think he'll be reasonably pleased so far. Contained a free scoring Fleetwood Town. Just be hoping that his team can carve out one or two opportunities. They haven't really had one so far.
Down by Calvin Andrew. Jason McGill there, the York City chairman. Actually played a piece of decent football in his university days when he was studying in London. He played for then non-league Wycombe Wanderers.
Schumacher is just having a word with Charlie Taylor because he's on all day, the central midfielder, the deep line central midfielder, and he wants his team to keep the ball better than they've done so far. He's always available, and it's him and Josh Morris that have probably seen more of the ball than any player out there so far. Just need to make a little bit more happen in an attacking sense.
Sarcevic. Roberts holding off Calvin Andrew. Good battle between those two in Pond, isn't it?
Well, it is. York have been the more direct of the two teams. They've bypassed midfield a lot of occasions. It's leading to a physical battle.
Sarcevic riding the challenge and getting the cross in. McLaughlin. Has made the step up from the Conference North. One of the goals for Chester when they enjoyed a promotion at the end of last season, a former Manchester City junior. This is David Ball, who played for Manchester City and scored in the FA Youth Cup final against Chelsea.
Physical battle we were talking about. Might be a backward step taken between those two.
We'll get the corner kick.
Got the first corner of the game for York. Fleetwood have had one. They've got some big lads, haven't they? Two central defenders, particularly Calvin Andrew. Will be targets.
Swept in by Hayhurst. Like an ankle for Ian Hume then. York get another corner.
To get in the end of this knockdown to clear the danger. Takes a little bit of a kick.
Hume hobbles on. It's a run of corners now for York, who waited the best part of half an hour to get there first, but they're applying a bit more pressure. They're just turning the screw a little bit.
Created anything from open play so far, have they, York City? So these set pieces present the best avenue to goal.
As McComb made the decoy run. Ben Davis. Swiftly out to make the challenge. Coulson. Jump forward by Penn. And by Hayhurst. Easily gathered by Maxwell. A couple of appearances at Wembley last season for Chris Maxwell. He was loaned out to Wrexham, who got through to the conference playoff final, lost out to Newport County, but defeated Grimsby Town in the FA Trophy final in a penalty shootout. Might history repeat itself this year? Not in the final, well, maybe the semi-final.
It's good closing down by York. They really are forcing Fleetwood to hurry their passing.
Schumacher. On by Ball. Taylor. Morris again available. Very bright in the early stages, Josh Morris. Ball. That could have gone anywhere.
Well, to win a playoff, you need a little bit of luck, and York City have just had one. Because this cannons off the defender, and that could easily, very, very easily, end up in his own net. McComb comes off his thigh and straight at the goalkeeper.
Good defending again by Roberts.
Important signing. He just had a slice of good fortune there, didn't he? This time they've got David Ball in an advanced position, able to run at defenders, and it was he that fizzed that cross in that came off McComb.
In by Blair, met by Ball. Manchester City. It was young Trippier. Kieran Trippier, of course, has enjoyed a promotion with Burnley to the Premier League.
York are making it so hard for Fleetwood. Fleetwood, you can see, really desperately want to get the ball down and pass it, but York closing Graham Alexander's team down, not giving them any space, and Nigel Worthington will be delighted with that, because what it does mean is that Fleetwood have to play more longer balls than they probably would like, and that's playing into York City's hands. To highlight that, like I say, Fleetwood seen more of the ball, but really troubled Nick Pope. Just one long-range shot.
What can Fleetwood produce here? There's a move of some promise initially.
That's in this area. Gets inside really well. Matty Blair can't find the finish.
Matty Blair, who turned his back on York City at the end of last season after they just about survived relegation from League Two. Nigel Worthington coming in late in the season, at the end of the season with 6 games unbeaten. They won 4 of them and drew 2. Barnet and Aldershot Town, the two were eventually relegated.
It has been a remarkable period for Nigel Worthington. To say, even at the start, or even halfway through this season, I was on the FL 72 show. We were talking about relegation from the Football League, and believe me, York City were firmly one of the major candidates. And what a turnaround it has been. 17 games unbeaten. Really, really strong. And here they find themselves with an opportunity to go up to the next level.
Given nothing away all season. The south end of the champions, Chesterfield, have a better defensive record. Nigel Worthington's team have conceded just 41 goals. think that they were only 3 off the bottom at the end of last year.
Well, last day, they survived on the last day, didn't they, with a win? Propelled them up to the lofty heights of 17th.
Pond looking for ball. Goulson. Calvin Andrew will give chase.
By doing that, he's got his team a throw-in. Had he not chased the lost cause, Maxwell, I'm sure, would have just dribbled that into his own penalty area and picked it up. Good honest toil.
Get up! Get up! And again!
Morris. Schumacher. Morris again available.
Pass in the midfield, that's a loose touch from Ian Hume of all people. Gives the ball away. Want it back for him though. Impeded there, David Paul.
Morris.
Loosen, the referee didn't.
Coulson. Roy Banjo. He almost rode the challenge of Schumacher, and that will be our first yellow card.
Stephen Schumacher doesn't really give the referee any option here. It's good work from Roy Banjo, isn't it?
Lifted by Hayhurst. Straight forward for Maxwell. Ball offside. And that perhaps is another lucky break for York City. We've had that one earlier escape in the first half when the ball shot thudded off McComb.
As Costas is cleared against Ian Hume, bounces back. Easy decision for the assistant.
Model of consistency for York this season, the 18-year-old. Morris. Schumacher. Now McLaughlin. Blair.
Just struggling with that in that final third, aren't they? Both teams really to just get the right cross or the right pass or strike the right shot. Tight, tense affair. You shouldn't really be surprised that there's nothing at the moment between these two.
There's not an inch between those two, Calvin Andrew and Mark Roberts. Almost wearing each other's shirt at times during the first half.
Boyson telling the lads he's aware of it. He's getting communication from his assistant. They're grappling right in front of Carl Boyson's assistant. Good refereeing, isn't it?
First time that Carl Boyson has taken charge of a playoff fixture. He did his best to ensure that the game went ahead as planned on Saturday evening. Gave the ground staff every chance to try and clear the water. Confronted by Schumacher and Taylor.
Just ran up a cul-de-sac, really. Outnumbered. Appealing to the officials more in hope than expectation.
Stoppage time at the end of the first half, just the one additional minute. And Calvin Andrew. Hayes racing forward to help. Joined now by Davis. Can York produce a chance at the end of the first half? York in no hurry to take this throw.
Interesting to see if we get more of the same tactics in the second half. It's not been a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but highlighting the stakes are so very, very high.
A frenetic opening 45 minutes. The first half of precious few scoring opportunities, but one fell to Fleetwood's top scorer, Anthony Sasovic, who did well with a swerving shot, which was matched by the save of Nick Pope in the York City goal. York haven't created a great deal. There was one snapshot from Calvin Andrew, which was well blocked by Mark Roberts. And defences have had the upper hand in this League Two playoff semi-final first leg. At Bootham Crescent, it's York City 0, Fleetwood Town 0.
Yes, you get the feeling that a goal in this match will be like winning the lottery. We'll let pedigree pick the bones out of the first half. Two tough, hard-working teams, no doubt about that. 0-0 at half-time.